Welcome to the American Small Business League podcast. I am Bruce the Taurus, and with me is founder and president Lloyd Chapman. How are you today?
Whoops. I'm good. I'm good. How you doing?
I'm fine. That happens. One of the things that is outrageous over the last, you tell me, is how you are censored on X. Talk about that, please.
Well, by the way, I'm censored everywhere. If Wolf Blitzer want to talk to me, he can't get a hold of me. You can't call me. You can't email me. You can't contact me in any way. I've been completely, shut off from all the media. And we discussed this in the last show. Back around 10 years ago, my fantastic attorney and good buddy John Cuneo hooked me up with a men's group out of New York. And I could tell that my phone wasn't ringing. In my prime, I was doing interviews 8 hours a day. I would do drive time radio shows starting at 4:30 in the morning. I would do interviews until 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, California time. Right. So now, they completely blocked me. So I told you the men's group determined that someone had compromised all my communications,
Yeah.
and they couldn't tell who it was. And the men's group is world famous. They're the best of the best, right? So yeah, our phone quit ringing probably 10, 15 years ago, right?
And for anyone seeing us for the first time or you for the first time, go to ASBL.com and see the work that Lloyd started doing decades ago to understand why is Lloyd being censored. That's why.
Yeah. By the way, if you think this is a conspiracy theory, go to your computer, and I put out a press release like 10 years ago when I won a major portion of this lawsuit against the Pentagon. If you type in ASBL beats Pentagon, it was on Business Wire, the largest news wire service on earth. So pull that up and then type in the title of the press release, and you'll see nobody on earth picked it up. You hear that? I put out a press release on the largest news wire service on planet Earth about a major victory against the Pentagon. Nobody on earth picked it up. None. It should have been picked up by 1,000 different people.
I'll add to this. Go to don'tcheatwomen.com, learn about that project, but scroll down on the homepage and watch the trailer of when Lloyd was interviewed by Bobby Kennedy Jr. last year when Kennedy was running for president. They had a half-hour conversation. The link to the half-hour conversation is also there, where Lloyd taught Mr. Kennedy about how billions of contracts for small businesses go to big businesses every year. And after half an hour, Bobby Kennedy Jr. said, when I get into the White House as president, he was running for president, I'm going to call you on day one, and we're going to do everything you want to do.
That was pretty amazing, huh?
Your communications got shut down 10 years ago, censored all over the
Yeah, probably
place.
probably 15 years ago. To tell you the truth, it was a summer of, I want to say it was 2013.
I think that's what you've told me. Yeah.
Yeah. So
12, yeah.
back in those days, people would write stories about me without even talking to me. I thought that was crazy. And I would Google my name to find the new stories about me to put on my website.
Well, that's because you would put press releases out after your legal victories, and
Yeah,
you've won
yeah,
more than anyone else, about 110 legal victories,
yeah,
exposing the diversion of small business contracts to big businesses, having victories over the Pentagon, NASA, the SBA, the Department of Energy, I believe the Government General Services Administration. Those
yeah.
press releases would make your phone ring. You would be called by congressional
That's right.
offices. You'd be invited into the studios of CNN, NBC, Fox News on a regular basis, and you were kind of, I think, rising in prominence and go-to ability in terms
Yeah.
of your expertise about it. That's why they could write stories you wouldn't even know about until someone said, "That's enough out of you."
Yeah. Let's say Monday morning, I wake up, I Google my name, I find 4 or 5 stories, and there was about 50 pages of just about me, Lloyd Chapman, ASBL, 50 pages on the internet. On Wednesday, I typed in my name. I had disappeared. I was gone from the internet like I'd never been born. I hired a number of consultants to tell me only Google could do that. And at that time, I was going on national television calling Obama a con man, a liar, because he lied to me about, ending the diversion of federal small business contracts to corporate giants. And I was pissed off, right? And I can't think a guy's name. Eric Schmidt, I think, was the president of Alphabet, which owned Google.
I
And
think
as a
so.
favor to Obama, they wiped me off the internet. In that same time frame, I will say a week, I got an email from Business Wire that says we're not going to run your press releases anymore. I got emails from every website I was blogging on, like the Huffington Post and The Hill. And I was very popular. I used to get record uh, responses on my blogs, right? I used to talk to Erin Huffington. She'd be at home, in the kitchen, talk to me about stuff, right? But they canceled me in the summer of 2013, right? Because I was right and I was exposing it, right?
Then you got active on X during
Yeah,
2023, 2024 when Bobby Kennedy was running for president and you had huge visibility, views,
yeah.
and yeah.
My staff worked with, I think, Facebook and Twitter and would put stuff up, And then I met Bobby Kennedy in San Diego. And I talked to him for about 20 minutes one evening, right? And I was very impressed with him. He's the smartest guy I've ever talked to. I've met Clinton 7 times, met Obama, I've met Gerald Ford, lots of senators and congressmen, lots of smart people. Bobby Kennedy was clearly the most intelligent person I ever talked to in my life. He's a good man too. He's a good person. He's an amazing person. But anyway, so I met him. I was very, impressed with him, and I started working on his campaign. So I started personally going on Twitter, and I was very well received. I think at my peak, I was getting up to 3 million views either a week or a day. I don't remember. I remember one post I got 1.5 million, and then another got 1.3 million views, right? I went to a fundraiser for Bobby in Beverly Hills, and Eric Clapton was the entertainer, right? And I was so dominant on Twitter that everybody knew who I was. I was surprised. As I walked through the crowd, people go, "Hi, Lloyd. Hi, Lloyd. Hi, Lloyd." Okay. And I just sat down at this big table of 12 people. They all knew who I was. They had, "Oh, hi, Lloyd." Right. Like I was a celebrity, right? I would make these videos talking about Bobby Kennedy, stuff like that. And people liked it. But I did it almost every day. So I had this huge following. And then when Bobby endorsed Trump, I started working on the Trump campaign. And I'll tell you something funny. I remember when the Kennedy people and the Trump people came together on social media, it was wonderful. We all kind of came together like Americans, right? It was very uplifting and empowering, right? So Trump wins, and I was very excited. I posted a video of me dancing around my kitchen with my dog when Trump won, right? And then, unfortunately, I started to see, the same old thing, right? The SBA budget's getting cut, that stuff, right? I remember I was in Northern California, and he'd appointed every person in the cabinet except the head of the SBA. He appointed every except the SBA, and I knew he was going to try to close it. I knew it. See, every president's under a lot of pressure to close the SBA. The Pentagon, and Fortune 500 firms, the Chamber of Commerce, they hate small business programs. They want all that money. They don't want any government money to go to small businesses. So I knew Trump was going to try to close it. So I still had a pretty good following at that point in time. So every day I was on social media. Trump's going to close the SBA. He's going to kill the largest economic stimulus program in history for the American people. And finally, after about 2 weeks, he finally appointed Kelly, is it Lufkin, to head the SBA, right? But
Loeffler.
my opinion is if I had not gone on social media and pounded all day long for weeks that he was going to close it, that he would have closed it, right? One thing that I've learned, I've been doing this 40 years. If I predict what they're going to do, they won't do it because they don't want me to be right. So if he'd close the SBA, I'd be nationally famous again because I'd predicted for 3 weeks he would close it, right? And that'd make me nationally famous. So they're not going to do that. But so after the campaign, and I got really unhappy with what Trump was doing, right? And I started posting different things. And one thing, as you know, that's one of my pet peeves is the $35 trillion is unaccounted for at the Pentagon. I hear Doge talk about, I think it was Jamie Raskin, they said benefited from a $10 million contract. Who gives a shit? 35 trillion is missing at the Pentagon.
Yeah.
And so I started posting about this article you can find on the internet. If you type in Pentagon 35 trillion, I immediately saw my views just plunge. I think I lost like 3,000 followers overnight one night. I was at a motorcycle rally around LA, and I lost, I think, 3,000 followers overnight. My opinion is that Trump is, a puppet for many people, but he's a puppet for the oil and gas industry. I saw him speaking to the UN. He's telling the nations of the world, don't go for this bullshit green energy crap, right? Yeah, he's owned by the oil and gas industry. Here's something most Americans don't know. The head of the Republican National Committee is a lobbyist for the oil and gas industry. That's why Chevron and Exxon pay no federal income tax, and they can make record profits, right? And
Yeah.
charge the highest prices of gas in history, make record profits, and pay zero federal income tax. Yeah, their lobbyist is the head of the Republican National Committee, right? So I posted a story about the fact that Exxon and Mobil made record profits, paid no taxes. The next day, my engagement is the term, dropped 99.9%. Today, I've got 17,800 followers, and no one sees my post. No one. All the responses to me are largely fake accounts. So here's my 17,800 followers. Here's my pinned post. I went to fundraiser with Bobby, and he did this nice video. Let's see here. I can play parts of that.
Don't hear it.
I paid to boost a post the other day, and I think the last time I looked, it had 355,000 views, but only like 18 comments. I asked Perplexity, what's the average ratio of views to comments? It says here, if you've got 50,000 views, you should have a minimum of 10 to 50. I've got 300,000 views. I should have 300 comments. I've got
Right.
like 18 or something like that, right? That's not possible. I did a Perplexity search before we did this. Perplexity says that I'm being censored. I've been getting harassed by these bots. If you don't like a genocide, they attack you if you're not a fan of that, right? None of these people are my followers. I've never heard of these people before. I had regular followers. We actually exchanged phone numbers and emails. I knew them during the Kennedy campaign. I knew them, and I talked to them all the time, right? I haven't seen or heard of any of those people in over a year. When I go through these people that have liked my post, in general, they'll have less than 100 followers, where my followers had hundreds and thousands, right? 7, 24, 53, 76, 54, 4, and this is 63. I get attacked, just all the freaking time, right?
You haven't even mentioned the sex bots attacking you or
Oh,
liking
you know
you.
what? So for months, I would get sex bots, which looks like a prostitute's website, right? And so if a sex bot likes your post, the algorithm identifies you as an undesirable person, and they reduce your views, right? And the pictures are very graphic. The most horrific sexual videos you can imagine. Horrific. I started reporting them, and they kind of went away. All right, let's watch this.
We don't hear the audio.
He's a hotshot consultant I used when I was up in Canada, and he used software that you could see if you were being shadow banned. And he said I was being shadow banned repeatedly. And he says that the software that he used to see if I was shadow banned would shut down when he put my name in it. So they've been hacked. Yeah, they hacked into the.
On Twitter.
Can you hear it now?
Yes.
A publicly accessible tool that anyone can use to see what their status is on Twitter. We had reason to suspect that there was ghost banning in effect, and we saw two different things. The first is that Lloyd's posts were being deboosted, which effectively means they still existed, but they were not being shown in all cases.
I hate when I'm deboosted,
Oh,
It's
well,
embarrassing.
there's something worse. You also were ghost banned.
Banned.
As far as you're concerned, Twitter's telling you all your stuff's there, everything's looking good, not so good. Other people are not seeing it. Other people are not seeing your replies.
And this is the third party that's doing it, not Twitter?
That's right. And now here was the third and final interesting thing that we were seeing. There seems to be some suggestion that these third-party tools are occasionally blocked, which is to say the thing that we're using to test to see if you were banned was intermittently not working, suggesting that something else is going on.
Like what?
Like the third-party tool is being messed with. So those are the tools that we use to see if you're being engaged properly on Twitter, if you're being banned or shadow banned on Twitter. And if you can't test it, you can't prove it. That's what we were seeing here. Looks like they were Twitter or a third party was interfering with our ability to even test it. And then when we were able to test it, we definitively saw deboosting and ghost banning.
What I'm looking for is all the posts I got from people telling me that I've been censored. I can't even pull up your page. Of almost nothing of yours. I slept a couple of quick likes. Have you been seeing mine as frequently as you used to? You know, I haven't been seeing your posts either. I've gotten like 100 of these. Your voice is so powerful, Lloyd. This is why they want to silence you, right? Unfreaking believable. And I even have your profile marked for all notifications. I can't see else. I basically never see your posts. I have to search for your profile if I want to know what you're posting. Of course, I don't get no notifications, right? I used to get this every day. Post not sent. We're sorry, we're able to send your post. Would you like to retry? I get that every day. Here's Elaine. I very seldom was getting your post, and when I went to your profile and clicked on locations, now I'm getting them so I can view them, right? So I see your posts, but when I revisit them, my repost of them has disappeared. For example, I liked and reposted this post yesterday, but now only my like shows up. Last summer, I saw your post almost daily. Today, I had to spend a significant amount of time finding your homepage to see your posts. I also think I have some fake accounts following me to see what I've posted. I keep blocking almost immediately and it pops up. There were a number of fake accounts under my name. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know, there's quite a few of them. I barely see you, Lloyd, and I've liked and seen and been active on previous posts of yours. I have several expensive people saying my stuff isn't showing up for them.
I'm noticing the dates on these posts. This is about a month after Bobby dropped out of the race and supported Trump. Is that when you first started noticing this kind of stuff happening?
Yeah. Yeah. Here's Monica. I hardly see your tweets anymore, right? Same here. I have to visit your account page to see
These are all September 2024.
yeah.
Yeah.
Lloyd, they really got you shadow banned. I haven't seen anything you posted for the past week or so. When the people that control X saw that my followers were doing this, it quit happening. They wouldn't let me receive these types of posts anymore. But I was getting them, I was getting them daily, but then I didn't get one for 6 months, right? So whoever has control of X, which I think I know who it is, wasn't letting my followers send me these notifications that show that I was, shadow banned, right? 17,800 followers. This top thing that I've pinned has got 55,000. 72, 63, 197, 68, 130, 113, 285, 72, right? You don't go from having millions of views in a day down to less than 100. When you sue the government for 40 years and expose trillions in fraud, they don't like it, and they want to silence you and shut you down. So
Right.
they canceled me in the summer of 2013. I've got a wall of stories about me that go back into 2001. I was on national television weekly. I would do, sometimes 6, 7, 8 interviews a day. Have been on television in years, and I haven't done an interview in months. And if someone does interview me, they'll never write the story about it, as you've seen, right? My lawyers tell me that I've won a record number of freedom of information cases against the government. When you do that, they don't like that. They want you to stop, and they want you to shut up, right?
And I just had a new thought. It's great to tell how you're being censored, to cause people to be curious, to wonder why. And that's when your director of communication says, go to ASBL.com and learn all about it. And go to don'tcheatwomen.com to see the tip of the spear, the issue that we know a majority of Americans will get behind and say, I want Congress to do that. Don't
Yeah,
cheat women.com.
yeah, yeah. I think that we've been canceled. We've discussed this a lot. Our phone doesn't ring. I used to get 50 phone calls a day. I used to get someone from Congress want me to sponsor their bill weekly. I would get,
Yeah,
guys, in a week, I would get 20 phone calls from journalists. People wrote
right.
stories about it all the time, right? But they pulled the plug on it in the summer of 2013. They didn't want to hear any more of Lloyd
Wow.
Chapman exposing fraud and corruption at the Pentagon, right?
Well, it's 2025 and our phone number is on the screen, and people could do us a great favor and just call and leave a short message and just say, I just saw your podcast. You guys are great. 415-404-7733. Again, that's 415-404-7733. And spread the word. Share this with folks. Share Don't Cheat Women with folks, because all we're trying to do is to get the federal government to comply with the law that says 23% of federal contract dollars must go to America's small businesses. Millions of jobs would get created. We would have it's the largest economic stimulus plan ever created by Congress in 1953, the Small Business Act. And the government basically lies when it says, oh, we meet that goal every year. Go to ASBL.com and see why that is just not the truth.
Yep.
And help us help you.
If the government would comply with the 1953 Small Business Act and give small businesses the full 23% of contracts that the law requires, it would create the largest economic boom in history, double the number of net new jobs. And the government's trying to silence me. It's
Right.
incredible. It's
Well,
astounding, right?
we want everybody's help to create a movement. If you know women's groups, if you know women's business groups, and women business owners and young entrepreneurs, get them to don'tcheatwomen.com and see what you can do. There's a lot that everybody can do, and we ain't dead yet. We
Yeah,
have to try.
yeah. Oh, I'm not giving up at all. But I want to remind people that about 15 years ago, the Senate put out a report that says for every 1% contracts of small business go up, it creates 100,000 jobs annually. Small business is supposed to get 23, they're getting 3. From 40 years of lawsuits, I can tell you they're getting 3%. If the
Right.
American Small Business League could prevail, some guy like Joe Rogan or Tucker Carlson would get us, in the national media, and we could educate the public about this and get small business at the full 23%. That would be an additional 20%, which according to the Senate is 2 million new jobs a year. America's only claimed to be creating about 2 million. That would be a 100% increase in new jobs, which would create a huge economic boom.
It's up to real Americans to help ourselves by putting this kind of pressure to cause this kind of change in Washington. And we need a Congress person or two or a senator or two, like Representative Luna out of Florida is championing truth about JFK. Ron Johnson, senator, is championing truth about vaccines. We need someone to champion the truth about the federal small business contracts to crack this open. And we've got all the ammunition you could want at ASBL.com and also
Yeah.
don'tcheatwomen.com.
They're using our tax dollars to violate our First Amendment rights. So the Pentagon is using our tax dollars, part of that 35 trillion that they can't account for. They're hiring some of the biggest reputation management firms in the world to silence people like me, a small business advocate who simply wants America to comply with the Small Business Act from 1953 and give the 99.9% of U.S. firms that create 90% of all net new jobs a minimum of 23% of contracts. Do I need to be silenced? No. Think how crazy it is that our government is using our tax dollars to violate our First Amendment rights and silence us when we don't like them committing a fraud and cheating us out of benefits of federal programs like the Small Business Act that were designed to benefit the American people. It's crazy. It's kind of like, your worst enemy is the government, right?
That's the kind of truth a lot of people just say, I can't handle it, or what can we do about it? Well, we have to challenge ourselves and others and everybody who can hear us to do a little something and then see, hey, I survived that. I actually emailed my congressman. Wow, I survived. That didn't kill me. Maybe I'll actually call with a follow-up call next week to say, hey, I emailed you. Maybe I'll do that every month.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll do it twice a month.
Somebody's bound to know someone in the media that wants to write a story and help stop America from a complete and total economic collapse, which we're heading to. By the way, Elon Musk says America's on the verge of bankruptcy.
Yeah, and somebody must know somebody who can get a message to Tucker Carlson, Joe Rogan, Jimmy Dore, Mike Benz. Hey, I just saw this great podcast with this guy, Lloyd Chapman. Here it is. Here's their phone number. Have a 10-minute conversation with Lloyd Chapman to see if you want to, bring him on the air. That's all.
It's been in the press for 25 years that the government is cheating small businesses and giving small business contracts to Fortune 500 firms. Google Fortune 500 firms get small business contracts. By the way, they've gone through and sanitized. They've taken out, I would say, 95% of the stories. 95%.
Well, we have a lot of them at ASBL.com. People can find them there.
Yeah. All right, we need to do something. I don't want to go bankrupt. I don't want.
Amen.
I'm 75. I don't want to see America go bankrupt and lose all my money.
Right. And there's a lot of young parents and there's a lot of children and there are a lot of generations who deserve to be born into prosperity because we had the courage and the strength and the determination to solve big problems. Thank you very much, Lloyd. This was awesome. I want to thank everybody for watching and listening today.
Thank you.